Hey everybody, I'm Eric Oberembt, and you're listening to Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out. We talk about real shit, what's on our minds, and don't give a fuck if it makes you feel a little uncomfortable. So sit back, strap in, and get ready for some real shit. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out. I'm your host, Eric Oberembt. We're back here at D2D-Con 6, filming episodes here on the floor of the trade show, and today's really special. I've got a guest today that I haven't got an opportunity to really know, but we've met each other in passing numerous times. We've gotten to talk a little bit, and I'm excited because I love using this platform as an opportunity for me selfishly to get to know people a little bit better. So I would like to introduce my new friend, Ryan, and I don't want to fuck it up. Is it Avila?
Avila.
Avila.
But Avila, but it's Avila's way my family pronounces it.
Got it. But Ryan.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it. We met, what, was it 2 years ago at this?
First time we met, I don't think we really said hi, though, was in Vegas.
At what event?
I think it was a summit.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a summit.
Okay.
We didn't really talk or nothing.
Okay.
And I think last year was the first time we really had a conversation.
Yes. And were you the one that called me out in the bathroom?
I don't know.
I think he was. Just an FYI for everybody watching. I'll never forget, I was taking a piss and somebody like hollered at me, like kind of next to me, like, hey, loved what you did, whatever it was. I don't remember what was said. I swear to God that later on I was like, who the fuck is that guy? And then I saw, to lead into this, that I was like, oh, that was the meat guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what you are. So like, I want to dig into that a little bit because like, you are in an industry that is not really represented here, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of has a different, what's the word? A different reputation, right?
Yeah.
In the industry, right? Like when you think of meat sales, you kind of think of like the creepy motherfucker rolling up on your door. You know what I mean? Like it just has a different connotation, but it's not necessarily accurate, right?
No, not well. There is. So
there is that.
There is that 100%, just like in any
industry,
any sales industry.
100%.
And you know that's why when I found this place, I really started buying in. When I found the DDD tribe, I started really buying into
to up level the industry.
Yeah, my first vision and goal was to bring 72 meat and seafood guys. I don't know if that will ever happen.
Bring 72, is that what you said?
72 good guys and up-level that industry.
Where'd you come up with that number?
I don't know. It's
okay,
just, I don't really know.
I didn't know there was something special behind it.
72 or Goggins rule of 27.
Okay.
It just kind of was a good number that just kind of like... But yeah, I don't have any like particular thing there.
Right.
I'm really grateful that you brought me in and onto this because we have common things. You know, the door-to-door space for one. The recovery space is a huge thing for my whole story of... How does a guy even end up? Nobody goes to college to become the door-to-door
meat guy.
Yeah, the self-proclaimed world's greatest steak and seafood salesman. The meat man kind of has that negative connotation.
Yeah.
And honestly, in our tribe, as I was trying to build that up and try to bring in some of the good guys, like it went totally wrong. Fell on my face, got my teeth kicked in doing that. But I actually got a golden door out of that, which I was like, what? It was like biggest contribution. I'm like, I don't.
That's
thank
awesome.
you. Yeah, that was
you.
fantastic. And I think that really did help me to kind of stay because
by winning things like that and being recognized, right? It makes other people realize that it is honorable.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
That it is honorable to do that and have that profession, right?
Yeah.
Tell me how you got into meat sales.
So I'm going to have to... Okay, so my cousin, just kind of keep it simple, we'll give you the quick version. My cousin, you know, we have to rewind. So it just doesn't lay flat if I don't rewind. So when I was 8 years old, my father was a cocaine dealer.
Okay.
And
was he a good cocaine dealer?
He was a really good cocaine dealer.
Okay, all right. I'm being fair,
Yeah, it was the 80s. And
heyday.
Yeah, and here's the reality. My dad was doing the wrong things for the right reason.
Okay.
And he got himself murdered in the process. And 8-year-old little Ryan watched him bleed to death and had to be the lead witness in that murder trial.
Oh, my God.
So, yes, so that's one of the parts is the question is how I got into meat and seafood, but there's that backstory there.
This is what I want to hear.
So, dad, pitcher, always, the dad's like your hero.
Yeah,
that's 100% the reality of life. And even though he's doing the wrong things, I was like, I want to be like Dad. And there's a huge message in that for the recovery field. But Dad, had a Michelob, long hair, a smile. That smile just, and. I started using it 10. Back to nobody goes to college to become a steak and seafood salesman.
Right.
And you look at how a brain develops in those. And Eric, I went 26 years, bro. 26 years of using. So I didn't get clean until I was 36.
36. And how old are you now?
47.
Okay.
So 11 years.
Okay.
And
what was your drug of choice?
Everything.
Okay.
What you got?
Yeah. I'm with you, brother. Yeah.
More, I guess.
Most guys are higher. Some guys are. You don't usually see guys that do both uppers and downers, though. Generally. So that's why I was asked. But you didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. I mean, I'm more like the upper.
Yeah.
It made me feel like I had sacked the quarterback.
Yep. Me too.
You play ball?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was too small to play in college. So because I played line. So I love playing football and baseball. So I pitched in baseball and played football, and I was a center and defensive tackle.
Okay.
And,
Good deal.
I love that. Yeah. But I was too small because I was only like 210, 220, and you got to be three bills.
That's not too small, but yeah, I know what you mean. It's taking that to a professional.
To that next level, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, it's good. It's so that was the first. So like, I know the question, but we're gonna get
ahead.
there. We'll get down the road to that.
Yeah.
So my football coach pulls me into his counseling office. It's like the first man that like really saw potential in me.
Yep.
And he pulled me in. He goes, "Hey, are you going to graduate? Because I'll put you in the All-Star game if you are." And I had my son at this time. I was 17 when my son was born.
Oh my God!
And that was the first time I ever got like a little bit of time, like a break. It wasn't like I got like on the path. It was more just a little break.
Yeah.
And 8 months there, and I told him, I goes, yeah, you know what I mean? I'll graduate. So, I'll put you in the All-Star game. You'll get a college ride. And
what game would you play? Baseball or football?
Football.
Okay, football. All right.
Baseball would have been a better option, man. Looking back, this brain's been through too much.
Yeah. So did you go to the All-Star game?
No. So there's a story to that.
Okay.
So that was the very first thing where I started buying towards a downhill path.
Okay.
And everybody knows that downhill path.
Yep.
And so that wasted potential, that feeling of just being an utter piece of crap, you know what I mean? And it's just that feeling of not accomplishing what you're supposed to accomplish really sucked, especially for somebody with a personality type like me.
Yeah.
Just make me angry.
Yeah.
So the same guy that had murdered my father gets a retrial. But we don't have an 8-year-old innocent boy no more. We got a 23-year-old.
How the fuck did he get a retrial?
Jury misconduct, some BS, and I tried to clean up my act and keep my nose clean and all that stuff, and it just didn't work out. So that crushed me some more.
Right.
And so there's a lot of internal work.
Did he win his retrial?
They did a plea bargain. The people did a plea bargain, and I feel that I've dealt with that guilt and shame, and it's like. Yeah, it's hard because I still have to live with that. Some things we have to live with forever. Yeah. So he got out.
Tell me he did something else that got him recaught.
Well, I haven't killed him, so that's good.
You know what I'm saying? Like the hope and the.
I hope to God that he didn't
kill anybody else. But
I hope to God he didn't.
But my hope is that he did something else that got him landed back in jail. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's just a prick in me.
No, I get it. No, I hope that. So that would hurt me even worse because I'd feel worse for letting that.
Right. Yeah, good point.
You're
a better human than me, but yeah, that's all right.
Stop. You're a great human, brother. Let's see. Where am I at? I write some bullets here just to be on track a little bit. So I get incarcerated, bro. I mean, it's just one of those things.
Yep.
And I end up being incarcerated with the accessory, not the guy, but the accessory to my dad's murder.
What?
So I'm gonna go eye for eye, bro. Like that's my mindset.
Yeah.
Is man, we'll just dig deep.
Dig.
That's you know what? We'll just dig deep. So, man, my mother-in-law is probably gonna listen to this.
Good.
And yeah, I know. So that's one of the things that's cool about being authentic, because like this is my story and I have to share it.
Yeah.
And so I get incarcerated, man.
Yep.
And I'm locked up with the same piece of crap that was accessory to my dad's murder. And I end up in there, and there's a lifer that's preaching the gospel. And Eric, I do not know what story he was preaching. All I know is that was where my soul was telling me to go. My dad had left the Catholic Church, became a cocaine dealer. There's a story in that, hey, you know,
right,
that if you go off the path,
right,
shit's gonna happen.
Correct.
Wife probably mad at me because I'm going off into the weeds.
Nah,
but it's good.
no.
Yeah, she loves me.
I told her I'd keep you on track, and this is the fucking track that we want to go on. So keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
this is real shit.
I'm in there, and you know, I don't know what message he's preaching. Yep. I just know that this guy that's preaching should be on this side. There's already another guy that shouldn't. That is, I mean, God's in control of everything. He's in control of nothing. So the guy that murdered my father, for him to be out, there must
be a reason.
There's some reason, right? Yep. Whether it's you and I having this conversation, who really knows?
Yeah, exactly.
So he's preaching the gospel, and I don't know what it was, but I like to imagine that it's the story of Paul and Silas. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Okay, are you open to me, Tia?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so Paul is an apostle who was a Roman citizen, and he was killing Christians.
Okay.
And Jesus comes to him and like blinds his ass.
Okay.
Sorry, Lord.
Like literally, like blinds like takes the sight away.
So he goes and he gets vision.
Okay.
Later on, Paul and Silas, and this is what I imagine, they go to this Antioch, Philippians. They go to the church of Philippi because Paul gets a vision in his mind. Go here, sees a face.
Okay.
Go here. So he goes there, and they get greeted by Priscilla, who's like a merchant of fine clothing. And she welcomes in. Here's the story, here's the message, receives the message. Now, Paul and Silas get in prison. The reason they get in prison...
Who the fuck is Silas?
Silas is like Paul's right-hand man, like his recruit, his mentor.
His consigliere.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah,
okay, all right.
That's road dog.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. He's a road dog.
There you go.
So Paul and Silas, there's this lady that's got an evil spirit in her.
Okay.
And she's going around, she's going, here's Paul and Silas. And imagine like Johnny Depp, like trial, like hysteria.
Yeah.
Like that's like going on like in the temple.
Okay.
And then she's like, here's Paul and Silas. I don't know how she said it because it's only in written verb.
Yeah.
But imagine that it's who are going to tell you how to get saved. And Paul can't take it after a couple of weeks, and he casts the demon out of her. And she's like, whoa, okay, I'm sorry that I was doing that to you.
Okay.
Now, Paul and Silas get arrested because the people that lady was making money for are losing a large sum of money, and they're like, dude, these guys are like blasphemy, blah, whatever exactly, I don't know what it is. End of the day, here's what happens. They're chained, they're beaten, they're totally taking their clothes away.
Okay.
And the midnight hour, Tim Story talks about earth shakers.
Okay.
And Paul and Silas are earth shakers. Late in the midnight hour, he's going to turn it around. The earth shakes. God shakes the earth, and every door in the prison, every chain comes undone. And here's what happens. There's a soldier on guard that's supposed to, and he was sleeping. Sleeping, bro. And he's like, oh, dude, I'm done. So he goes to kill himself. And Paul's like, no, wait. We're right here. All of us are right here. And it turns out, well, it doesn't say that, but you can imagine that was the face he saw.
Okay.
I don't know. You know what I mean? So that soldier goes, surely, dude, that God you like is God. This Jesus. How do I get saved? And his whole family was saved that day.
Okay.
The one showed up.
Okay.
And saved his whole family.
Okay. So that ties in.
So here we are back to Old Folsom. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to take an eye for an eye.
Okay.
So I'm supposed to do 6 more months.
Okay.
Somehow God miraculously, the very next day after that thing, and we had a prayer circle after, and it's very politically incorrect. And, normally we're on the inside of the church where, like, there was walls around us, but there was, like, Seventh-day Adventists taking up the Greystone Chapel.
Okay.
So I don't know what I prayed for. All I know is I remember this fearful, unauthentic, scared fear that man was going to judge me and look at me in this circle. And I could say I prayed for addiction and to be removed. And honestly, the Spirit might have prayed that because I said that for years. But looking back, I don't know what the guy's sermon was. I don't know what I prayed for. I just remember the fear.
Right.
And 3 days later, Avila, 7-5, coming housing unit number 2. Understand that Mark Chandler was in housing unit number 2 right below me. And understand that, and those opened. So I end up in the Salvation Army. I start completing stuff. That was a long-term program. There's a lot in detail. It doesn't really freaking matter.
Yeah.
I end up in the Salvation Army, and I have a 7-year state sentence, completed or not. And, it's like, okay, I complete something. And things start to stack. And so to answer that question, my cousin throws me the keys to a truck after I graduated, $20 for fuel, got my teeth kicked in.
Yeah.
No training, no, dude, just go and learn. And I'll be a little bit more lenient on him, and I have to thank him because we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for my cousin.
Right.
He had to give me a little bit of training, but it's not like what we have here.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, what we have today is like night and day difference than what any of us had in the beginning as far as training goes. But so you started selling meat and you started doing that. Now, were you sober? That was when you got sober, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that was when you started working a program and doing that. And then during all of that transition, when you were coming up in the sales community, right, or whatever, becoming who you are today, of the notoriety of the fucking top meat and seafood sales guy, in the fucking world, whatever you want to self-anoint yourself as. Right. When did you become passionate about the recovery space of it and helping others?
So that was like day one.
Was it?
That was like day one.
Okay.
And I think that's...
in that moment, you knew that it was your responsibility to be able to share that message with people so that they knew that there was another way out.
100%.
Interesting. Wow. And that's such a different story. And the reason that I asked that question is because there's so many of us that it took us a long time to find that, right? Like, because in the beginning, when I got clean and I got sober, it was fucking all about me. And all I wanted to worry about was, how do I just not drink or use today, right? And I had to spend a year, 2 years, whatever it was, really getting myself okay to then have that moment and that epiphany or whatever it was that, like, oh, no, my purpose is to help all these other people, right? Yeah. Like, your story, or the way that you're telling it now, is like, you kind of started off on fucking step 12.
Well, no. So we got to look at it this way: is I'm a retread. So
okay.
At 17, I went to my very first 12-step meeting.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know what I mean?
So you had some exposure.
I had.
You had some exposure to it prior.
I definitely did, and so I don't want to sound like it was an overnight.
Right. So what do you do? What do you do today to help?
Salvation Army, I give back.
Okay. What does the Salvation Army do?
Salvation Army.
I just know that's where you go buy fucking old coats.
That's a very common thing. So feed the hungry and the poor.
Okay.
Help people with their power bills.
Oh, really?
Victims of human trafficking, and then a huge for addiction recovery.
Is there?
Yeah.
I had no idea that was part of their thing.
Yeah, they're a church. They're 100% a universal church.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Huh. I did not know that.
Yeah, so everything that you ever donate to them goes to them being effective in their leadership and stuff like that. Like,
interesting.
You ever seen the movie Founder?
I don't know.
It's like the story of McDonald's founder, Ray Kroc.
Oh, I don't think I have. Huh?
Okay, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Anyways, his daughter donated a bunch of stuff to help in the cause.
So that's one of the ways that you give back, and then are you involved in like the community and the program and everything, and have sponsees?
Yes,
all that kind of stuff as well.
I do the steps traditional way, and also a lot of my prospects are from the Salvation Army.
Okay.
And, to start school on Monday.
Okay.
You know, I didn't want to be that guy that was like, I'm going to become an alcohol and drug counselor. I wanted to get enough.
So you're working on that now?
So now that's kind of one of my things. Is my stepping stone was door-to-door sales. I mean, I'll probably always I don't know, who knows, but to become to where I had enough economic security to be able to do that.
Yeah. So the thing that I want to kind of finish up with is I want to make sure. I want to talk about this. So last year when we met and were talking, you brought up to me this book.
Sorry it took so long to get to you.
No, man. But this is so tell me a little bit about this book. It's called The Writing of the Big Book.
Yes.
And this is a big fucking book.
So it goes back to the beginning days, you know.
Who wrote it?
Well, that's a great question. Sorry, I can't remember who did the. It's somebody that
written?
did.
How long after the program started?
Recently, actually. It's not too far off. And they take a lot of the original manuscripts.
Okay.
And they just give us like a detailed.
Like, is this my gift?
Yeah, that's you, bro.
This looks like it's your book.
Well, you don't have to read it by the cover, bro.
Well, no. But I mean, like I felt like this was like you're giving me your book, which is amazing.
I read it.
Okay.
I read it. The only reason I didn't give it to you earlier is I was still finishing it. I hadn't completed it.
Well, I mean, it's a big-ass goddamn book. I mean, fuck, it takes a while to read it.
I hope you like to read.
I do, but man, this is going to take me a hot second. But so this is literally about how the big book was written.
How it came about.
And for the people watching that don't understand what that is, like, so again, we all have different pasts. We all have different whatever. Like, I am not a big church guy. I'm not a big religious guy. AA is like where I found my spirituality, right? AA is where I found God, right? Where I found the God of my understanding,
Amen.
right? And if I didn't have AA and I didn't have the fellowship of AA, I would have never found that path, right, for myself.
Which is really cool because so it tells the story of Bill and his friend Hank.
Okay.
His friend Hank wants to write this because the value of like training a salesperson and somebody like that value of training somebody, that's high level like money.
Right.
So Hank wants to sell this to corporations.
The big book?
Yeah, the program to the corporations. Bill, and he wants to take God out of the whole thing. And so it ends up being awesome because it connects to so many people. If it would have been like the Oxford group, the way like it was all God, it never would have connected.
Right.
Which is so
100%.
So I won't spoil too much, but you got a lot of stuff in there that you'll be like, wow, like the old timer stuff is actually kind of really
because one of the things that I'm so passionate about with AA is because I see people that are out there that are struggling and they get scared of the rooms because of the God talk, right? And a lot of times they won't stay long enough to figure out what it really means.
Yeah.
And so I kind of go out of my way if I see somebody new to grab them and be like, don't let that fucking scare you, right? You don't have to, when you're in this room, you don't have to believe what Johnny believes. Right. You don't have to believe what Billy believes. The best line that was ever given to me when I was in rehab was, all you have to believe is that there is a God or there's something bigger than yourself and that you're not it.
Amen to that.
And I was like, ooh, I can buy in to that. I can crack the door open just wide enough to continue listening if that's how you're explaining it to me, right?
It's a beautiful part of it,
but the difference in, like you said, like the Oxford group and blah, 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 it was more of a, this is fucking it.
For absolutes.
And if you don't believe what we believe, then you're not going to get it.
And I've heard that so many times, and the truth is like that's a disservice to the atheist, or the, you know what I mean? That's or the Buddhist,
Muslim, or the fucking Hindu, or the whatever, right?
What would, like, for me, my higher power is Jesus, and what would Jesus see, like, what in like me doing that, like, what would he see? Like, he would not, like, I mean, he would tell the truth,
right?
He'd be like, Father sent me. You know what I mean? And Yeah.
Again,
I don't want to get into schematics.
No, but that's why this means so much to me, because without this program, and I know there's people that watch that, you know, like, have gotten away from AA, and I've had people come in that are born again, right? And I've had very interesting conversations with them because they consider themselves recovered, right? And I don't believe that. I don't believe that you're ever recovered, and I think that it's a dangerous fucking term to use.
I can see where you say that.
Because of other people that are coming in new, wondering, oh, well, what do I have to do to be recovered? Is it 6 months? Is it 12 months? Is it a year? Is it a year and a half? Like, what are the steps? Because then I'm in the clear, right? I don't think you're ever in the clear, right? I believe that we have a disease. I believe that I'm allergic to alcohol, and I believe that my body reacts differently to it, right? And if I ever let that part of my guard down and think that I don't have that and that I'm truly recovered, right? So recovered to me is they cut out the cancer and it's completely gone and I never have to worry about it again. But it doesn't mean that I'm not another different human than I was. I am.
Check this out, Eric. So an old bounty hunter taught me this. Do you know what the most important word in this book, and it's got 3 letters, do you know what it is?
What?
You gotta guess.
I mean, I'm assuming if it's 3 letters and it's important, it's God.
That's what most people think.
Right, that would make sense.
It's not.
Okay.
It's fit.
It's what?
Fit, F-I-T.
Okay.
So we can get,
give me a context.
Our primary purpose is to carry the message to the alcoholic who's still suffering.
Correct.
Our real purpose is to fit ourselves to be a maximum service to God and those about us. It's fit. And this is how we'll react sanely as long as we're spiritually fit. If you and I are off spiritually, we're in the wrong.
Right.
Dude, we better go and work on that internal game right then. So that's fit.
Interesting. I'm super, super excited to read this.
Most people do think that it's God, and not that it isn't.
But it makes sense that that's the answer.
It's
right.
Kind of.
It makes sense that that's the answer. But dude, I just wanted to thank you one more time because like when we get of a certain age and of a certain we've got stuff, right? It's really hard to do something meaningful for another human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can't just buy somebody something. Like if I want something, I'll go fucking buy it. Right? Like, I got a job, I got money, I'll go buy shit for myself, right? It's hard to buy people Christmas presents or, you know what I mean? Like, it's just hard to do that because it's not really a gesture anymore. It's like, it's an obligation, you know, or whatever. But when somebody has the foresight and the to think about, like, to put actual thought into something, I have to make sure that I'm honoring that by saying thank you out loud because, like, it's such a big deal, you know, to do that. So
it means a lot to me to be able to give that to you. Are you writing a book?
I've written 2 books about roofing.
Okay.
I've written 2 books about that. I am in the process of exploring the idea of writing my story.
Okay.
That's going to take a hot second.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like there's going to have to be some interviews with folks that maybe, you know, might be a little hard pulling information out of. I don't know, just to have memories, right? Because there's memories you forget and whatever.
Yeah.
But there is something to that. I'm glad you brought it up. I'm exploring that option. But why'd you ask that question?
I just thought
just had an idea that.
I thought maybe you were, and I think that it's a good idea to kind of I mean,
even if I just write it for myself.
Yeah. I mean,
right.
Well, a lot of the meat guys went to roofing, which is interesting.
Right.
So when I came to Door to Door Con, it was Jordan Belfort, and he had sold meat, and I'll tell you, there was one thing that he crushed my soul with. It just literally crushed my soul. Sam goes, Jordan, is there anything that you would, if you were to sell door to door, is there anything, what would you sell? And he goes, I sure as hell wouldn't sell meat. And
really?
Here I am, like, trying, you know.
So why did you think he said that?
I could give you a million reasons why. For me, I was like gonna go out and prove him wrong. I was like,
right,
F that.
But
bro.
why do you think he said that?
Well, he
you think
failed.
It's 'cause of money?
He failed. Money. He failed. Well, he grew too fast. He failed.
Okay.
There's so many reasons why.
Yeah.
And you know, I wanted to like take that as a challenge, and it's kind of funny. It's one of his business partners actually still in business. Yeah.
That's
so
funny.
like, you know, it's kind of like 2 sides to every coin there.
Yeah.
So I was out there to like find evidence to like prove why
Prove
I should
him
stick
wrong.
it, and then started doing solar because of everything, and everybody else was going to roofing, and
Right.
I was like, well, I'm not going to just abandoned ship. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Good for you. Well, hey, the way that we like to wrap these up at the end is, I know you've got 9 pages of notes here of stuff that you wanted to talk about, but I always give the guest the last couple of minutes of whatever was kind of chewing on your brain, where you're like, I want to make sure that the audience is left with hearing this from me. This is the moment that I give back to the guest to be able to do that I want to be able to leave the audience with.
Okay, gotcha. Priorities, because of the gift that's been given to me.
Yep.
And it is a gift.
Yep.
Is to give back.
Yeah.
And that's a priority.
Yep.
I want to share the 3 circles with you, but I kind of feel like it's not the right time to kind of share that in podcasts, but I want to share that with you at another date.
Okay.
For me, because my brain got so mushy.
Yeah.
But let's just go ahead and go with it's a story that I forgot. And I don't know exactly who wrote it. I know a guy that's kind of on a mission shared it. And I'll probably mess it up. I tried to rehearse it a couple of times so I don't.
Right.
So the life of sales is like a boiling pot of water.
Okay.
And you have 3 characters. You have the carrot, starts out strong and crisp and bold.
Yep.
Goes in the water, gets boiled and gets all mushy. You have the egg, who's hard on the outside and soft on the inside, goes into the boiling water and gets hardened.
Yeah.
Now you have the coffee bean. The coffee beans are special. They change the entire dichotomy of the water. They use the hardships to elevate and change. Oh man, I messed it up.
Structure.
No. It's I messed it up, man. It's not to change well, it does change the structure and change that whole thing.
Yeah.
But it elevates them to greatness, and I messed it up. But you know what I mean?
Right.
That's one way to fail forward.
Story. We'll look up the story and then we'll add it in to make sure that it all makes sense, and so everybody got exactly what you meant.
Amen,
Ryan,
brother.
Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for becoming my friend, and thank you so much for this book.
Thank you.
All right, guys, everybody, thanks for tuning in, and remember, be authentic or get the fuck out.
You can't be authentic. Get the fuck out if you can't be authentic. Get the fuck out if you can't be authentic.